Hannah McNair, Cal McNair joining us at the NFL annual meeting at the Breakers in Palm Beach. So far, so good. I know we have a little bit of the meetings left, but Cal, can you assess it for us?
They were good meetings. I'm glad they're towards the end. I like being around players and on the field more than being in meetings, but these are things that have to do the business of NFL, and so that's what we're here to do, and got most of it behind us.
How'd you like being here, Hannah?
It's always fun. It's always fun to get together with the other families and the wives and the significant others and just get together this one time a year. We're all actually in the same place. So it's a lot of fun.
Isn't
and
that
get
strange?
to do a couple meetings and have some fun and good dialogue in those meetings. And it's
Isn't
enjoyable.
it kind of strange because we're so competitive as a league, all 32 teams, yet here everybody sort of lets their hair down. Isn't that what it's like?
I think so, especially, the Monday night reception when everybody's together. After a full day of meetings, everybody's ready to just kind of chill and put the swords down and enjoy each other's company.
Put the swords down, I like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but I've been sitting in a meeting room the whole time. So, at any rate, no, it is beautiful here, and glad to be here.
All right, international games, one of the focal points here. A lot of talk about that. New areas where various teams can market themselves, things like that. We haven't been out of the country since 2019. It feels like we're kind of due. So what do you make of the big push toward international games? It's just going to add to it. 7 games this year, more next year. What do you think?
I think it's great for the league to expand and look at these countries that have a lot of interest in our game and bring it to the fandom there. We'll be on the list soon. We don't know when, but the league will let us know, and we'll be glad to go.
And that affects so many people, right? It affects the entire organization because logistically you got to get the whole operation to another land, foreign soil.
Yeah, it is different from flying to Jacksonville, which we do every year. So we have that one down a little bit better, or Indy, where we go every year. So those we have down a little bit, and they're a little shorter flights. But a lot of similarities there because you're packing all your gear and going and taking everyone with you, a lot of the same ways. When we went to London, we took a lot of our fans with us and sponsors, and so that was an added, not a complication, but it added a lot to the fun of the trip, and we were there a couple of days. So
I wouldn't mind going
it was
there
a fun
again.
trip.
Would
It
you
was a fun
mind? You
trip.
would like to go there?
I'd love
I'd
to,
love to
yeah.
go there.
Go to
Yeah.
London, yeah.
That was fun. You were there.
I was there. It was great. Australia next year, it won't be us because it's the Rams hosting, and we play them this year. So we'll have to wait a while for that.
I think it's also different if you're the visiting team than when you're the host team. There's probably a lot more to do. We haven't been a host team out of country yet, but
True.
there's probably a lot more logistics that go into it.
That's right. Mexico, the Raiders that were hosting that one. Flag football, a lot of emphasis there. And I know this is something really important to the Texans organization and the league as a whole.
Yes, it really is important. We are still in a hard push to get it sanctioned in Texas. We want to be the 15th state. Right now there's 14 states. And, it's just, it encourages growth, but it also encourages the scholarships that are available for college. It encourages the higher education. So when you're in high school and you're looking for an opportunity to further your education and get scholarships, this is another avenue that you can go down as a girls flag football player to get those scholarships into college to help with your further education.
And it is a lot of growth, but it's like exponential growth. It is growing so fast, and Hannah's working so hard on it. But it'll give opportunities to kids that don't otherwise have that opportunity to go to college. Will be able to go to college and play a sport and, possibly change their lives. So it's really, really great deal.
We were the first ever in the NFL to hold a showcase for girls in Latin America. So we did that in Monterrey. I think there were 1,200 applicants that were there. And so that's just one piece of it, but we're also in El Paso, we're in Austin. And so we're expanding and we're growing. And part of that is my daughter is still playing. She played in the fall. She's playing here in the spring with the YMCA. We've partnered with the YMCA. We're in most of the YMCAs in Greater Houston. So just those little things that we can continue to grow, being in all HISD high schools, charter schools, A-Leaf, Fort Bend, all of these different areas and continuing to grow is very, very important. But it's also, there is such a hunger for the game with female athletes, and it's encouraging and it's fun to be around.
Caitlin Clark and Serena Williams were here helping promote the cause. How was that, seeing them?
I think Caitlin mentioned she may play in the Olympics in 2028, which would be fun.
That'd be amazing.
I have no doubt she probably could. She's an incredible athlete, as is Serena. I think it's wonderful to see other athletes from other sports encourage a game for females that is very important to us.
So Caitlin said there wasn't a league that she could play in. Otherwise, maybe she'd be playing flag instead of basketball. So it's interesting how life works out. But
that's really interesting because you mentioned it. It's so important to get kids to play when they're young. So especially these girls teams in high school, great, but you want them to play young so they're ready to go in high school, right?
Yes, and Marc, I know that you're a big fan of flag football as well, and I believe you've coached it a few years.
Over a decade, but we won't get into that right now. Let's get into this. Mike Toman, new president of the Texans, and we interviewed him here as well. There are things for the presidents here to do, meetings and such. Can you tell us about him, your thoughts so far as Mike Toman takes over as president?
He's been with us a month and a half, something like that. He's hit the ground running. Coming to these meetings, he knew a lot of people here, and so it's been a pretty seamless operation, and we're really happy with him. So
it feels like he's been with us for a long time, even though it's been only a couple of months. He fits right in. He hit the ground running. He's very fun to be around because he sees the future and he sees the growth, and he's inspiring so many people around him. I love that about him. I think he's great for the organization. I think he's great for the league.
Well, he's a real global thinker, but he's talked about renovation being an emphasis with the stadium. What about that? What can you tell us about that? How important it is to get NRG Stadium up to date and beyond?
Yeah, we need to get it up to date. We realize that. We've been doing a lot of research with the county, with the rodeo, to understand where the stadium is, its current state. And we'll continue to do that and bring in the information and let that data kind of guide us to where we're going. But it's a very complicated issue. One, because we have rodeo ourselves, the county's the owner, and a lot of dates the county controls. And there's a number of facilities there on the site. We're focused on the stadium. The rodeo is as well. The rodeo also uses the arena in the convention center as well. So it gets very complicated very fast, and we're talking about lease structures that will go out to 20 years, 30 years, and we want to get it right to where we don't wind up behind in maintenance and repairs like we are now. So we want to address that as we go forward and come out with a win-win for everyone.
All right, I know we have the draft coming up soon enough, but what do you think about what the team has done so far with Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans have been working on, player acquisition time of year?
It's an extremely fun time of year for us as we see Nick and D'Amico put together the team that really D'Amico envisions on the field, and Nick has embraced that, and they're bringing in guys that keep filling those areas to help them, become a really good team. We were good last year and the year before, but to see where we're going to go this year is extremely exciting.
All right, the two of you have a reputation of showing up at the draft party, so no pressure or anything. But
is it a reputation now?
Yeah, there's a history here. I know a couple of years ago we had that historic draft 2023 with CJ and Will. It was absolutely amazing. But every draft feels exciting, and the draft party presented by Modelo is at Avenida Houston again. So you got to be excited about that. I know you're going to be in the draft room, but you never know. We might see you.
We have been known to drop by, so I don't know if we're ready to commit anywhere yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we swung by there for sure.
We love being around the fans, and the energy, especially around draft time, is so much fun because there's so much hope. We all are, rowing in the same direction of we want to win, and so everybody's hopeful, excited, and that's what you're around, and the vibe is just so fun.
I know game day has to be the ultimate, but it's got to be fun for you two at training camp because you get a lot of love at training camp and you throw t-shirts out, you get to be really close to the fans as opposed to a lot of other events.
I think for me, game day is a mixture of excitement but also stressful. And training camp, we can relax, be with the fans, have a good time. Again, they're as excited as we are for the season. They're as hopeful as we are for the season. And so that comes across, and we all enjoy being around each other.
And we have a big grill out at the end of
Yes.
camp. So that may be one of my favorite days.
I was going to ask, so we're going to do it again this year.
Absolutely.
Committed.
Yes.
Committed.
Count it.
Outstanding. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Marc.
Thanks, Marc.